Famcast Media, bitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, persons of all ages, welcome to the most exclusive group in the wrestling community. And now, your hosts, first, from Guadalajara, Puerto Rico, Macho Rodriguez, and his tag team partner from New Brunswick, Canada, Macho Tyler.
Brother, how you doing today?
What's going on? Just chilling here, sweating a couple MLB bets.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I wanted to jump on live here with you because I thought we can provide some content for some people. I sent out a feeler on TikTok to see if we could possibly have a third person join us. Hope you're okay with that. His name's Johnny Boo. He's actually a big Mustafa Ali fan. And after what we just saw tonight, I thought it was pretty interesting because I wanted to give you credit. Can you believe the promo that Mustafa cut tonight? Did you get a chance to watch it?
I've not. I've only been home for maybe half an hour.
Okay, so I should date back. So about a couple years ago, there had been this character that Mustafa Ali had given to Vince McMahon. He wanted to work out. I don't know if you heard about this. It's kind of a politician character. Did you hear about it?
I did not. That's interesting.
Okay, so he cuts his promo at a podium, which with a background that almost looks like the presidential seal, but it's for Mustafa Ali. And he cuts a promo about how, ready? Are you ready for the excitement of your call here?
Sure.
He cuts a promo about how he is the right choice for the North American champion. He is the right choice to go after Dominic Mysterio. And it's very political, very nice, but you're the one who said if they really want to get him over, have him feud with Dom because he has uber heat. And that's something that you called like months ago, right? That was a pretty decent amount of time.
I did because like what I said was Dom has like he can lose and it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And also he can lose and say, "Oh, I had PTSD because Mustafa used to be a cop."
Yeah.
Dom was in jail, so I don't know if they'll play up on that at all or not. But I just thought it would be something that would work for both characters.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. I reached out to that guy on TikTok. I wanted him to join us here because he is the biggest Mustafa fan I've ever seen. This dude has gone out of his own way to spend his own money to make Mustafa Ali merchandise.
So he's bigger than the other one?
No, that's him. It's the same guy.
No, I'm saying you said he's the biggest Mustafa Ali fan you've ever seen. So he's bigger than the other one?
Oh, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
I kid.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy but yeah, this guy is a big fan, and I wanted to get his interaction because I know he's probably freaking out because he's the one. I thought it was pretty interesting because I also wanted to see what his conversations with you were like because he said after not having Mustafa beat Dom and Wes in that match, he said from now until the rest of his life, he will forever call Shawn Michaels Hickenbottom. He won't call him Shawn Michaels. He says he lost his name because of that.
Oh my God. Okay.
I know some of these fans are great. I thought it would be pretty cool to have some marks on here.
Who in the world thought that he was going to win that match? Who in the world thought that Dominic was not going to just retain the title?
I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting, though. I thought it was something where it's like, hey, maybe we can have some other fans on here that might do, like actually do stuff like that. But yeah, so what's your thought on possibly Mustafa Ali getting to feud with Dom right now? Like, what are you thinking of this current politician gimmick? So far we've just gotten a taste tonight.
It sounds like good stuff. I've liked everything he's done since he's gone back to NXT. I think it's a good fit for him, and it lets him I don't want to say big fish, small pond, but like it lets him be more, on Raw he was gonna be below so many people. Whereas in NXT, he's just kind of in the mix.
Yeah.
And he's got a couple of really good promos, and he's had a couple of really good matches. That North American title match from the last PLE was a banger.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's definitely talented. I think this is one of those things where like he could possibly be put in the right position, especially because he's just had so many start stops. I mean, but now we're looking at possibly like the 5th different character change for Mustafa. So hopefully like this one sticks, you know?
Right. And a lot of the problem is again, like what we talk about all the time. Unlike in the past, there's no defined like mid card.
Mm-hmm.
You're either main eventing or in the top 2 or 3 stories, or you're a jobber.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, like back in 2000, like every mid carder had stories. You had like Val Venus, Rikishi, X-Pac, Eddie and Benoit were in the mid card around that time. Jericho.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot. I actually want to have a conversation. I'm so glad you brought this up. I was going to jump to the stuff you wanted to talk about last night. Okay. I wanted to talk about the Punk stuff.
Yeah.
But now that you bring this up, hopefully you have a little bit of time that we can go over. Let's talk about how important it is to have a mid-card foundation. And you're one of the people that I know that is a proponent of the mid-card. You believe that it is something that wrestling needs. So why don't you like touch upon that? Like tell us why you believe that that's so important for wrestling today and why it's missing so hard, like so much.
Yeah, I don't understand why neither company really has one. You're either, especially in AEW, like all these young guys, yeah, I'm sure it's great for them to get to work with like a John Moxley or Claudio or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for their character, it doesn't do a whole lot to just have them doing jobs every week. Like, how many times has Wheeler Yuta lost to friggin' whoever?
Yeah,
one of the top guys, or same for Danny Garcia, or before he got hurt, Dante Martin. Like those guys are. I mean, they look like jobbers, and they're not. They for instance, this week Wheeler's facing Orange for the North American or whatever the hell.
Well, that's going to be a banger.
National title. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Orange Cassidy has been the bright spot. I mean, he is.
God, yeah.
MVP. Anybody who thinks that Orange Cassidy is not good, you're honestly not watching, because me and Tyler argue about this all the time. Like, and some people believe what they believe, that no, you're okay to be wrong. It's okay for you to be wrong, but there is no right or wrong in terms of professional wrestling and what you like and what you dislike. But what you have to admit is that he has been the most entertaining thing on Dynamite for the past year. He's just been phenomenal. Everything he does is outrageous. It's I see a lot of people complaining about his kicks and stuff, but they add to the character. Like, what do you expect? Like, what's the difference between his kicks and Road Dogg's like little punches with the little dance and everything? Like, that's the same. They're supposed to be the same thing, right?
Well, I think he's hitting him a little harder with those. It seems like he's hitting you a little harder with those punches, but
yeah, but like
part of the character. Like, just why do people hate fun?
I think I don't know. I think it's definitely one of those things. Like,
I love what I saw. I was watching. Cultaholic had a March Madness style bracket for the top WrestleMania matches.
Okay,
they called it a World Cup, but anyway, it was like they did it like a week after Mania. But I watched it Sunday night, and Vince and Shane from Mania went quite far.
Okay,
and they were just like, I forget what it beat, but it's like, sometimes you want like a filet mignon and some, this beautiful dinner. Sometimes you want a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
So like wrestling is all of those things. Sometimes, you want the beautiful 4-course meal. Sometimes you want ice cream for breakfast.
Yeah. I mean, I wake up sometimes and I have cold pizza,
About to have some nachos for dinner when we get off here. But
nice. Yeah, I just feel like we're in a spot where like people want every single wrestler to be a top guy, and they want to over. Yeah,
if everybody's a top guy, nobody's a top guy.
Exactly.
It's okay to be a mid-carder. It's okay to be, like, yeah, again, we're just naming people like Billy Gunn.
Yes.
The guy had a great career. He was never a top guy, but, I mean, he had a great, how friggin' long? 25-year career? Road Dogg, I know you don't like him, but, like, the guy had a good career.
Yes, I agree with you. It has definitely become one of those things where I feel like, wrestling fans are just forgetting how important mid-carders are. And you can kind of see like you can see that they want to oversaturate the top of the card. And what that does is honestly, it makes, not to bring up my arch enemy's point that he makes about the Bucks, but it kind of makes it less special. If everybody's on top, then I don't care. I don't care about stories. There's nothing special about it. I like the fact that people have to fight to get to the mid-card. Some of our favorite wrestlers ever. Shawn Michaels was a mid-carder. Bret Hart was a mid-carder. These guys fought for a year. I mean, Bret not so much, but the rest of them, they fought for years to get to the mid-card. What? Shawn Michaels started being a mid-card performer in 91, right? He didn't get his break till 95. It took him 4.5 years to actually be put into main events and stuff. He did have an on and off like pay-per-view match, or he main evented with Bret Hart, but like only Bret went from tagging to immediately jumping into like main event scene, and he won his first world title in 91. Like that shit doesn't happen anymore.
It was late 92 actually. It still took him a year and a half.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like he's the quickest that we've ever seen. I mean, even you can say what you want, but even guys like Brock Lesnar, who rose to the top in such a short amount of time, he still had to make his way through the mid card. He still had to.
This is something I was thinking about on my way home. Like, the reason I fight so hard for Finn is like he's either going to be in these main events or he's gonna just be a jobber.
Yeah, it was funny that you bring this up, because what I was thinking about today about Finn Balor is I was like, you know what he would be amazing at? He would be amazing if he was considered to be like this day and age's like Mr. Perfect or Macho Man Randy Savage or Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, guys that like all but Hennig have been world champions, but they're predominantly known for being like the best mid-carders ever. Like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is one of the greatest performers we're ever going to see. He's a mid-card performer. Macho Man, greatest intercontinental champion of all time. I don't care. You people that keep saying Gunther, you don't do your research. Macho Man is the best intercontinental champion of all time. I'll fight you. I'll fight you right now. Yeah, I think I do. I think he's the best.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I just feel like if Finn Balor, like, let's say,
and he's not the only one, but like that was the example I was thinking of.
Yes, but I'm just thinking about like this day and age. Like right now, Gunther's in the mid card. He's the upper echelon of the mid card, right? And we know that Gunther's going to move up to the world title picture. Right now he's the odds-on favorite to be the Royal Rumble winner. We get that. We know it. Like that's who people want. So what if like Finn Balor does the John Cena with the Intercontinental Championship? What if he wins the IC title back and he just like holds on to that bitch, just like makes feud after feud like The Miz did? The Miz he's a legend. He's going into the Hall of Fame. He's a double Grand Slam champion, and he's forever going to be a middle like card wrestler. Like it works. Some guys are really good at it.
And he gets it, and he's damn good at it. Yeah.
Yes.
But like, yeah, you could have guys like if it were defined, and like you would give them, 20 minutes on a pay-per-view, like the guys we mentioned before.
Yeah.
Savage, Steamboat, perfect. You could have guys like Finn, Dolph, Miz, LA Knight, Nakamura, all those guys could just tear it up. Like Scott Hall was essentially a mid-carder in WWE.
Yeah, absolutely. He
I mean,
was.
he's a beloved. Razor Ramon is a beloved character, but like he was the IC champion. He never got higher than that. Like he had a couple of. He wrestled Brett on pay-per-view for the title once, same as what Sean had done.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I definitely feel like
Goldust.
Yeah, Gold Dust, absolutely. Jeff Jarrett. Some of these guys were exactly what wrestling needed, and what we've talked about off air a lot. We talk about in just our text conversations. The mid card is super essential. It's super important to professional wrestling right now. We need this because it's one of those things where without it, we're not looking forward to the main event. And to be quite honest with you, at the age that we are at, I mean, you tell everybody you're 25, but I'm going to be next Saturday, I'll be 39. And I'll tell you right now, the most important thing that I've realized about wrestling is that the mid card and the mid card championship was always the foundation for good professional wrestling. The main event was never like the tops. Like if you go back, but let's go back to my favorite promotion, if you'll allow us to, WCW, right? That's my personal favorite promotion. I feel like the best moments in my life watching wrestling are from WCW. Diamond Dallas Page reaching the mountaintop, Big Papa Pump finally winning the world title, Booker T taking Hogan's like spot, things like that like actually meant something to me. The best of 7 series with Booker T and Benoit, like those things mean something.
Right.
And if you go back to those spots, like the Cruiserweight division, the United States Championship, the Television Championship, those were always like the 25-minute matches, like 15 to 25-minute matches. But then like the main event, the world title, 8 to 12 minutes. I mean, Big Papa Pump won the world title in 8.5 minutes. Goldberg beat Hulk Hogan in 5 minutes and 50 seconds. Like that's just the story. The story's told to you all match. They need a short, like quick encounter.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I like and like I'm sitting here thinking like back in the like 99 2000, my favorite wrestler was X-Pac. And like 1 2 3 Kid. Well, 1 2 3 Kid was my favorite though. Like when in the 90s. So like again, when he came back,
we have a conversation yesterday where I was giving him flowers and you just refused to acknowledge this, and here you are.
I said he's not better than Finn.
Okay,
I stand by that. But anyway, all right, not the point. Point being, I knew homie was never gonna be like in the main event for the most part, but that still didn't mean that I couldn't hope he'd be like the Intercontinental Champion or when he was always on there having good matches and, he had a role. He wasn't just a jobber. I mean, sometimes he was Triple H's, job boy, but.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I just feel like we're in a spot right now in pro wrestling where I don't think wrestling fans actually care about the product we're watching. I think we're oversaturated, and I hope I don't offend people. Well, honestly, I don't give a shit if I offend you guys. I think we're oversaturated with casuals. Yeah, I feel like there's so many casuals that don't get the storytelling. If I could just point out, like, there was a recent SummerSlam review that I watched, and I loved it. I thought it was great. The whole SummerSlam review I thought was perfect. I'm not gonna knock the SummerSlam review, but I'm gonna add to a point that was made about the Brock Lesnar Cody Rhodes match. There was this narrative that Brock and Cody weren't providing us with a story. There was no story being told. It was weekly, and it was just like, what's the story here? Ooh, big man beats up Cody. There's no story. And then the guy that was explaining, the guy that was explaining, and the guy that was talking about the match, he was like, he was agreeing with me. He thought for sure that the match was like the match of the night, and he actually said that the people that looked at Cody and Brock and didn't see the story, that you just don't know what you're talking about. You honestly don't know.
Right. It was like, yeah, big man beat up Cody. Cody keep coming back. Big man tried to eat Cody. Cody keep coming back.
Exactly.
You know? Like it was an easy story. Like it's paint by numbers, but I don't agree that it was the match of the night. But that's okay. We all have our own opinions.
Well, the guy actually had it tied. He actually had it tied with Gunther and Drew.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
Whatever.
Not a lot. Not
like I said, we all like what we like.
What do you mean? I thought you agreed. You thought Gunther Drew was the best match.
No, I thought Finn and Seth was the best match.
Oh, we talked about that. I think when we reviewed it, that's a super polarizing match. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I don't understand why. I think honestly, and then I'm just gonna throw this out there with you, to you before we start talking about what we actually came on here to do. Do you think fans would have considered the match of the night if Finn Balor won the title?
Yeah, probably.
Because that's what it feels like.
I think that's kind of what was expected, and then when it didn't happen, maybe that took away from it for some people. It didn't really for me. I love the story, the callbacks with Seth coming out with the same shirt on, and Finn's got the little 7 years on his. They did the buckle bomb to the outside, or Finn did the buckle bomb on the outside, and then Seth did it to him in the ring. I just love the whole story they told, and it didn't matter to me who won. And I will acknowledge that I'm a Finn Balor mark, but I think I would have loved that match regardless of who was against Seth, if it would have been the same story.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely feel like it was absolutely one of the top matches of the card. But if I'm being honest with you, in terms of pro wrestling and the way it's being presented to us today, I think right now, and this is an issue that I'm watching with Tony Khan, specifically Tony Khan, not Triple H, is Triple H is willing to give us like quick, decisive wins, like predictable wins, because he wants you to enjoy matches like Balor, Seth, like Gunther, Drew, and like Brock and Cody. Like those are the matches that they were trying to like. That's the matches they wanted us like to present us. And honestly, if I'm just being honest, I feel like Triple H and a lot of fans are disappointed with the women's triple threat, because with those three talents, we were absolutely expecting it to be a killer match. And it actually, like, I went back and watched it. I find myself bored during a decent amount of it, which is something that I've never said here on about a Charlotte match. I was pretty bored. I thought the beginning was very scatterbrained.
See, I thought it was just pouting because I wasn't into it, but maybe it was just that it wasn't that good. I don't know. I think it suffered from its placement. For one,
I think they had to be pre-main event because of the Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus stuff. Like, I think a lot of fans were angry, and Triple H was like, "Look, I can't give you everything you want, but at least I could put the girls on semi-main." And I think I realized that only for SummerSlam. If you go back and you watch the previous couple of shows, that they didn't at all mention the 4 main events, but then SummerSlam Saturday, all of a sudden it was like, oh, we have 4 main events tonight. Like and I was like,
so that was the 4th one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I kind of rolled my eyes at that. I was like, you're trying too hard now.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
It's too late. You already fucked up.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's okay because we're having a great story being presented to us now. Like, it looks like they're just like stretching out Becky versus Trish. So, All right. And now for the meat and potatoes here, guys.
So is your friend going to join us or no?
I'm guessing not. So, I mean, we're not really friends. We've just been mutuals on here, and he's given me some advice on how to move up on TikTok and stuff. But it looks like he's not actually. He didn't answer, or he might just be too excited about what he saw in Mustafa tonight, to be honest with you. But yeah, let's move on to CM Punk. So I want to go over some stuff before I let you go, because I know you have a lot to say about this. I know. But remember, a lot of what we talked about last night, it wasn't on our show, so if you feel free to repeat that stuff so we can like tell everybody what we were talking about. All right, so it was reported that CM Punk kicked out someone on Saturday night and there were so many reports saying that it was due to him not saying hello to CM Punk or being disrespectful, and him having to, because he's a friend of the Elite, or however the rumor began. It was also reported that Adam Page was brought into Collision to do a segment and then sent home. Today, that was dispelled by even Meltzer. He said that did not happen. Nobody shooed away Adam Page. So that was completely dispelled. One of the things that was brought up was that CM Punk, after he cut his Peg promo, he reached out to Adam Page one-on-one and he apologized to him. I think CM Punk is trying to do his best to have the massive heat that they're talking about, and I think he really does want to work with the Elite. I think he's trying to kind of force their hand, and we have talked about this. We think Adam Page and Kenny Omega are willing to do business, but kind of point out what you were talking about here at the Bucks and why you think they don't want to do business, and then why don't you talk about the stuff that you mentioned last night?
So have we not talked about this on air, where I think maybe they're concerned that they're not safe?
Yeah, we haven't talked about that on there.
Okay,
It's been a private conversation.
Okay. I think maybe they're worried he's going to shoot on them, which I can't imagine CM Punk doing, but then CM Punk's done a lot of stuff in the last year that I wouldn't have imagined him doing. So, but that's the only reason I can think of, because otherwise it's a wrestling match and it's money. Like, do it.
Yeah.
But can I just say, what a bunch of children. Like,
yes.
Like, we all work with people we don't like. My biggest issue here is it was apparently several somebodies that were sent home. It was Ryan Nemeth, Christopher Daniels, and Matt Hardy. And I don't worry as much about Daniels and Hardy because they've had long careers. I'm sure they're not, worried about where the next meal is going to come from. But Ryan Nemeth is just kind of trying to establish himself in the business. It's Dolph Ziggler's brother.
Yeah.
And so I don't really like one of you'll learn from me. One of the things I hate is like when Karen is mad at you, so she's gonna try to get you fired. And this is a similar type of thing. I don't agree with going into people's mouths and taking food out of it. And that's essentially what I feel like Punk did in this situation because of a tweet that they'd already talked about.
Yeah.
And so if he is the reason that this guy was sent home, then I think it's not cool.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I think that might be taking a little bit too far. I did have an interaction today. Video was sent back and forth between me and Ray. She is she's a big wrestling TikToker from New York. And we had a conversation. She stitched one of my videos where she insinuated that I was picking sides or trying to start this new narrative that CM Punk, that he doesn't warrant any of this hate or heat that he's getting. And I did send her a 2-minute video back telling her that I in no way, shape, or form am trying to do that. I do understand that CM Punk is definitely an issue, but I do feel like the Bucks lay some blame here, specifically the Bucks. And I make it very clear that I don't think Kenny and Page have anything to do with this. One, because Adam Page has stayed completely out of all of this. And that to me is very telling. It almost feels like to me, like he doesn't even trust the people in the Elite. Like, I'm not even going to tell you my feelings because I don't trust that it won't get out there. You know what I mean? Because he's been very quiet. And I mean, I'm a big fan of Adam Page. I do feel like Adam Page made the wrong decision picking AEW. He's young. What's he, like 30?
No, not even. I don't believe.
I just feel like Adam Page can go to WWE. He can win the NXT championship immediately. I feel like they'll bring him in. The cowboy shit gimmick will just work. And now with Endeavor, since they're like going to be able to like talk like that, can you imagine?
Me too.
Oh, okay. I can see him going to WWE and just becoming a massive superstar. Like we've talked about this before. I think I've said this to you. I can see Adam Page walking down or coming to the ring at WrestleMania on a horse, like real cowboy shit things. You know what I mean? Like that's what I could see. Like, and I don't know why he chose AEW. You know, obviously, like friendship matters, so he must have picked that just based on, you know, the team that he's with. But I don't know. I just feel like CM Punk is not the only person to blame here. He definitely is an issue, being a butcher for as long as I've been a butcher in a grocery store and dealing with grocery drama. I can tell you that if John Smith, who is a fictional character, people, if John Smith works in the dairy and he starts problems there, and then he gets moved to deli and he starts problems there, and then he moves to meat and he starts problems there, and then he moves to checkout, and he blames everybody behind him, the whole grocery store knows he's the problem. And that's kind of what's happening with CM Punk right now. He's just going to place after place after place, and he is always the topic of conversation. So we know he's the problem, but at this point, I would say that he is not the only person to blame.
No, it's obvious that he's not particularly easy to get along with. He's a particular guy. I think I'd probably get along with him because I get along with a lot of particular people.
We have a mutual that's very particular, just like CM Punk, and we love him to death. He's awesome.
Talked to him this morning, actually.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, hopefully he's doing well.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think there's a lot of similarities there. I'll ask you off air if John Smith is who I think it is, but
oh no, he really is a fictional character. I just made him up for this.
It reminds me of somebody.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No, I was just trying to use a good example, and I figured if I didn't blame it on anybody, you know. I did have a person at my old job, at the one that I left last April, after 14 years. I did have an employee like that. That person was that, but you would have never met this person. That moved from department to department to department. They were supposed to come to me so I could fire them, and they wound up firing themselves for saying something racist.
No.
So
all's well that ends well.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think be professionals. All three of them.
Yeah, I wish there was something, because there's a lot of money that they're leaving on the table, and I think AEW really needs this type of business. Like, I get that right now a lot of people feel like MJF and Adam Cole is the top story in AEW, and I'm not disagreeing with that. But what I'm saying is, if CM Punk were to work a single member of the Elite at that Wembley show, it's going to be the most watched match. It's going to be the match that everybody like. People are going to have the same thought you do. Like, ooh, is Punk going to go into business for himself? Is he going to give them a receipt in the ring? Are they going to?
I don't think he's going to, but I'm just wondering if that's what they think.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to see like him and Kenny. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a match everybody wanted to see the whole time. So, like, I don't understand. I
mean, him and Joe's going to be, it'll be fantastic, but.
Oh yeah, I think they're unhappy with their Owen Hart match, and I think they're going to go to Wembley and try to steal the show. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. They're not going to be able to, because we're supposed to get a Will Ospreay match possibly, and Kenny's going to work Takeshita, and that alone could steal the whole show.
That could, yeah, you're right.
Takeshita, I didn't even realize how good he was until that mock War Games they did. So he was a bright spot.
Yeah. Who did I see him wrestle? I don't remember, but it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
If it's given time on the pre-show, it's gonna be difficult to top MJF and Adam Cole against Aussie Open.
See, okay. So I'm going to shout out Mr. Bischoff again. He actually has a massive problem with this, and he's not the only one. I believe Russo has a problem with it, which is weird that they agree on a lot of shit, but they hate each other.
That means that it must be right.
I guess, but like, why have this match for free? Like, what do you think? What's your opinion about that?
To get
Like,
people to tune into the pre-show, which then may sell the pay-per-view.
but why Adam Cole and MJF? Like, they're the top feud.
I can't really tell you why. Why is Eric Bischoff going to go on and talk about giving matches away for free?
Well, he was fighting for the ratings. Those matches needed to happen on television because they were a television. He says it a lot. They were a television company. They weren't in it for pay-per-views.
Yeah, okay.
They were trying to sell TV, not pay-per-views.
Okay. Well, Hogan versus Goldberg absolutely should have been a pay-per-view main event, but that's whatever.
Well, I'll tell you what, they definitely dispelled the rumor, or Conrad did. Had that been a pay-per-view, Hogan would have made out a lot more in his pocket. It being on free television, Hogan didn't make any money for it.
Right, because there's no they didn't what's the word? Didn't matter how much you drew, you still made the same money.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the point. Like, a lot of people blamed that on Hogan, and they talked about how Hogan, I guess because it was his idea. He called Eric that, like, the week before.
I remember. Yep.
But a lot of people blamed him for that. So I don't know. I guess it's just whatever. But so do you want to wrap up talking about? I have some thoughts on Bash at the Beach 2000. You want to just like touch on it real quick?
Sure, because I actually have a rant that I would like to go on that's completely off topic and random. So sure.
Oh, okay. So did you watch Dark Side of the Ring on Bash at the Beach?
No, I haven't seen that. I listened to the podcast, but I haven't seen the Dark Side of the Ring.
Okay. So Bash at the Beach 2000, it's kind of like rehashing of what we hear on the podcast, the 83 Weeks podcast, where they talk about how Hogan, it was Hogan, Bischoff, and Vince Russo that go over and they have this conversation where they decide on the finish of the match.
Right.
And in the decision of the match, I guess they decided that Hogan would win exactly what we saw. He would pin Jarrett, and it would look pretty much the way it did, where it was just like, this is shit. Like, the company's going to crap or whatever. And then I guess the show was supposed to kind of stop there. Hogan was supposed to leave with the title. And then I guess Vince Russo goes into business for himself, which we later find out that WCW executives or at TNT or whatever, the Turner Broadcasting, sided with Russo, which they originally told them whatever Eric says goes, and then they wound up siding with Russo, which is very strange. So in this, I just want to point out that I've seen a lot of Twitter traffic, I've seen a lot of TikTok traffic, where a lot of people are saying, man, if it was a work, they really screwed Hogan. Guys, I grew up in this era. I watched this match live on my scrambled television.
Yeah, me too.
Like my dad had like one of those scramble cable boxes, the ones that like you go buy from like the ghetto. Like he went to New York City, he bought that shit for $45 so we could watch like free pay-per-view. Like I remember that. Hopefully that's not illegal, but
oh wait, no, I actually I would watch them scrambled and like listen to them.
Oh, okay. No, that's just what they call the boxes. But yeah, so I remember watching it and I remember being super happy that happened to Hogan because I was angry that Hogan was wrestling Jeff Jarrett in the main event. I was like, why is this happening? Why are we still getting Hogan in this spot? It's 2000. Like, give me somebody else. Like, we got a new world champion. Give me somebody else. And we obviously, however it worked, I felt like a lot of people at school the next day, agreed with me. Like, yeah, we don't want Hogan in that spot. Shout out to Union Hill High School, by the way. And
you in summer school?
No. When we talked about it, like we had to do all these stupid, like, meet. You don't go like meet up with the kids before school. You never did that? Like go to the park, do like dinners and shit.
No.
Oh, they do it here for Arthur. I have to do it too. Like next Monday, I have
Okay.
to go to like a dinner at the school. Yeah, they do it here in Pennsylvania
Oh,
too. Um,
they
but so
didn't used
anyway,
to. Anyway, yeah.
oh well. But anyway, so yeah, I remember going and like meeting a bunch of like kids that not meeting anybody because we all came from Washington school, but like talking to a bunch of kids at the park or at the school or whatever. And I remember like them telling me like, yeah, we hated that Hogan, but everybody was pumped that Booker T won the title. But for some reason, people are so angry now. Like they found this dark side of the ring and they're just like bitching and moaning like Hogan was screwed and we could have got a lengthy run and this would have been a great story. Who the fuck wanted Hulk Hogan to come back 2 months later at a pay-per-view, walk out while we're about to have a heel versus heel match and say, I'm the real champion, and then wrestle and then win the world title? Like, be the undisputed world champ. Who the fuck wanted that in the year 2000?
I don't know why anyone would want that ever. Like that doesn't sound like an interesting story to me.
No, when they explained that story, I remember laughing my ass off, thinking like, "What?" Like, and then I just want to say something very controversial on here before I let you rant about something. Vince Russo catches a lot of hate for his Crash TV method and the way he like wanted to be like Maury or Jerry Springer, right? Like that's kind of what he wanted. But he's produced two of my favorite moments in pro wrestling history. The Brawl for All is gonna be. I love it. I love that Dr. Death Steve Williams got knocked out. I love that JBL got knocked out. And listen, Papa Shango haunted my dreams when I was a child. He made the Ultimate Warrior throw up from the top of his head. I don't even understand how that's possible, but he scared the crap out of me. So when he got knocked out by Bart Gunn, I was pretty happy. I love the Brawl for All. And Bash at the Beach 2000, I thought was great. I don't understand why people hate on it so much.
But you just said he gets a lot of hate, but you understand that both those moments are universally hated, basically.
I don't know. I don't see a lot of people complaining about the Brawl for All. I feel like
they had a dark side of the ring about that too.
Yes, but I don't think a lot of people complained about it. What people came out saying that I realized on like internet traffic? Why don't we have something like that now? That was the first thought.
They could potentially do something cool now. But back in those days, like listen to the crowd. They're chanting boring, boring.
Because those rules were stupid. Those rules were dumb. If we're being honest, Mark Mero should have won that shit.
Probably so. I actually found it to be somewhat entertaining.
Yeah. Especially when Bart Gunn started knocking people out, I was excited. They went from chanting boring to him knocking dudes out and then them being like, oh shit. But whatever.
Okay, so I watch all these lists of like worst matches, worst intercontinental matches or whatever.
Oh, okay.
On all of them is the Ultimate Warrior versus Goldust from I think it's In Your House, Good Friends, Better Enemies. But it's not a match. Because it's the whole thing is Goldust is hurt, so he can't work a match. So they basically stall, and then he loses by count out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, if you're gonna make a list like that, do your research, understand that this is why this was done. It's more of an angle than a match. It just frustrates me because it's like it's as if they don't know what they're talking about. Like a bad match is name a bad match.
Name a bad match?
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell.
Sure.
It's my go-to. I don't know why. I just hate that match so much.
The finish.
The
stupid light.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever thought that was a good idea?
I don't know.
Why do they do that?
I don't know.
I'm going on a completely separate rant now. Like Sin Cara, Bray Wyatt, having purple ropes for the cruiserweight division. Why do they do that shit?
I don't know. I think it's definitely. I think those lists are skewed though. like I feel like you're right. I've gone back and I've like researched the crap out of them because when we first started doing our audio podcast, guys, we decided to dissect the what culture and cultaholic lists, and then since then we've kind of stopped that topic. We could bring it back if you guys like it. Let us know. But we've been dissecting them, and I realized that Tyler was actually really right about these. Those lists, they are massive Bret Hart fans. Like he's on every good list, but he's on no bad lists, and he has bad moments. Like, I love Bret Hart. He's on my Mount Rushmore. He's number 3. It ranks in my all-time favorite wrestlers. He has a lot of bad moments, people. Like, I don't understand, but they are definitely skewed.
A lot, but
I mean, you know, enough. So, I don't know. I don't understand why. I feel like they're just like fans like us that just go out there and they're not actually breaking things down. You know, like the way we talked about JD McDonough on Monday and his phenomenal performance and how he looked, how Sammy just made him look so great. And we compared him to a would-be legend of the sport had he not done some like atrocious things. We compared him to him right away. And it was just like, okay, like we're talking about it. I'm telling you about the psychology he's using and how he's working Sammy's arm and how it's great. It's my favorite style of wrestling. Even you noticed it and you thought what was the text you sent me? You were like, he has a bright future.
Yeah.
So like we dissect things a little bit more than most wrestling fans. But I feel like those lists are skewed. It's just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to make a top 10 list and I'm going to be as controversial as possible to get people to like these lists. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hot take TV is definitely in vogue these days. Ever since I blame Skip Bayless, but
I agree. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I feel like I have some hot takes, you know, and I'm sure you do too. Like, I think The Undertaker might be the most overrated wrestler in the history of the business. I feel like his entrance being the length of an actual pay-per-view is ridiculous to me. And, you know, I stand by what I said that he didn't have a good match until Bad Blood. Like, I feel like I'm on an island all by myself. He didn't have a good match until Bad Blood. I don't understand.
You are on an island by yourself because
I know I am. I know a lot of people think that Boiler Room Brawl match was good. And I'm like, what about it? What about it was good? Tell me.
That's fine. It's a brawl. I think the Buried Alive match was pretty good. I think their King of the Ring match was also pretty good. But
I guess, like,
depends what you like. I mean,
sure. I'm a big fan of Yokozuna, and I still think those matches were crap because of The Undertaker. Like, Yokozuna worked a lot of good. Like, I think, okay, SummerSlam, Yoko versus Luger is better than any Taker Yoko match. I
genuinely love the Royal Rumble 94 casket match, but I can acknowledge that it's not good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. Like, I agree. Like, there are some matches I
feel some type of way about it. I don't know. It's just,
100%. There's matches where you can like that other people just don't like. Like, one of my favorite matches I've ever seen, which is I was thinking about this last week when I was trying to come up with a list because Tyler said he wanted to start doing our own lists on here, and one of the lists I wanted to recommend was hardcore matches because I know how much Tyler hates hardcore wrestling and how uncomfortable it makes him. So I wanted to talk about it, and I realized that I completely forgot about Steve Corino versus the Sandman and how much I loved that towards the end of ECW. And I was like, man, I thought that match was phenomenal. You know, I thought it was great. I love the hardcore wrestling, you know. I don't know.
Listen, I like some of it. I just don't. And you talked about him on one of your TikToks the other day. Jon Moxley just worries me. I'm just genuinely worried for the man.
I don't understand what he did to piss off people.
He bleeds walking to the ring, like.
So, like, that's what CM Punk says. Like, I hate that.
It's concerning.
I hate that. It makes me want to punch CM Punk in the face. Like, why would you say some shit like that to just add to it? Like,
where's the lie? Spot the lie.
So ridiculous. This whole like we hate John Moxley for no reason when he was so loved.
I don't hate him. I'm worried for him.
Why? What did he do?
It's not good for you.
I guess. I don't know.
All
I
sorts
feel
of things you could catch and
what? Did you just say?
things like hepatitis and
Oh, come on, man. You think that he's going to go out there and he's going to do shit like that, you know, with his like, beautiful baby and his wonderful wife at home? He's going to put them in
seem
danger.
to be overly concerned.
I mean, no, he definitely does some things to his body that are a little bit like they're definitely nerve-wracking.
I liked Moxley. I liked Dean Ambrose. I just worry for the guy. It literally makes me uncomfortable.
I don't know. I don't understand why everybody loves to just hate on him so much. I want to read you something though about John Moxley, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Before we go, Mox's simultaneous dedication to AEW and NJPW and independent wrestling is what makes him one of the most important people to ever exist in this generation of wrestling. I'm forever going to be blessed that he left WWE so we could be on this amazing and beautiful journey with the equally amazing and special and beautiful talented soul like him. He's the ace of professional wrestling. There's a lot of people that love this man, that see what I see, that he is just really good for pro wrestling. And I feel like his recent hardcore death match, like, I don't know, kink, I would say, is has definitely taken away from what people felt about him. Like, did you like Dean Ambrose?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
the stuff they made him do was kind of stupid, but yeah, yes.
We're not talking about the Bane Dean Ambrose. We're talking about all before then, the Lunatic Fringe. Like, I felt like he was awesome. There was a reason they put the title on that man. There's a reason that they had him beat the other two members of the Shield to keep the championship, to lead SmackDown.
Yeah, and I'm okay with a match like that every once in a while. Like the match he and Jericho had for the title.
The plant match?
No, for the title.
Oh.
In AEW.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
a year ago, they both got massive color, but they were telling a story and it was a great match.
Yeah.
But just like when you're in there with Evil Uno, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, I suppose you're right. I feel like there was this day and age where Abdullah the Butcher or Dusty Rhodes, they colored every single match, and I feel like people really appreciated it. But the difference between now and then is that back then they were doing that like once a month because they had
Dusty
to go to
wasn't
territories.
doing it against like George South. He was doing it when he wrestled Ric Flair.
Yeah, Rick, Harley. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's the same thing as what they say about the Bucks with their little flippy flops. It's the exact same thing. If you do it all the time, it's not special.
Yeah, but they're not special, so it's not like it's
You're wrong, but that's okay.
They're not special. Okay. They're not. All right, I'm gonna bring in a conversation that was brought up yesterday on a sports talk show, and one of the things that a sports analyst said about Trey Lance from the 49ers was he's not exceptional at one thing. All right, like every quarterback that gets drafted that high, there's a reason for it. They're really good at one thing, and maybe we could take that one thing and we can build around it, whether he's an athlete or he's a great thrower or he processes film correctly and he processes on the field. He's not good at anything like that. So they're starting completely with a raw talent. When I look at the Young Bucks, they are literally not the best at one thing. What are they the best at? What are the Bucks? I'm asking you since you're the biggest Young Bucks fan I know. What are the Bucks? Name one thing in their arsenal, in their their presentation, their promo. Name one thing that the Bucks are the absolute best at.
I think, well, for one, I think using each other in a tag match, they're as good as anybody.
Okay, but like, what are they the best at? Like, what?
Well,
Like, do you feel
probably
like they're the
that.
best high flying tag? Do you feel like nobody can high fly like them? Like, do you think they're better at it than Lucha Bros?
No,
Okay, do you think they're better technical wrestlers than FTR?
no,
Do you think that they're a better presentation than the Acclaimed?
no.
All right, well that's what
No, no, no,
that's
no.
what,
Here, can I qualify the Lucha Bros? They're not better high flyers than Phoenix. They're probably better high flyers than Penta.
all right, but come on, if one guy is better than two guys, that's pretty.
But Phoenix
weird.
is holy shit. Like,
Yeah, but
that man does some stuff.
yeah, but you know that Penta's like the more popular one.
Well, sure, and he's the better wrestler. But
Yeah.
as far
But
as like
that's
flying around, Phoenix is.
yeah, he's like the La Parka or the Psychosis. I would say Psychosis was really good. I feel La Parka was good. I feel like he just got a lot of hate for just being a little heavy.
Hoovy, maybe.
I mean, yeah, that's a great comp. I mean, I'm a big Hoovy fan, so I love that comp. Yeah. Mask, no mask. I'm a big Hoovy fan.
Yeah.
Still really like Billy Kidman though, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I like the Hoovy Jericho matches a lot. Yeah.
Best 450 splash ever. I
Probably.
feel like everybody's trying to do what he does, and nobody does it well,
Probably
like at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I just feel like.
Did JD McDonough do a reverse Spanish fly last night?
I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch the match.
It looked like a Spanish fly, but it was like the opposite. I think it was him.
Yeah. I feel like.
I love that move.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of. I'm a massive fan of this kid so far. I really enjoyed his stuff, but I'm wondering, am I going to fall out of love with him the way I did Brodus Clay? Because I feel like, and it's not that I don't like
Brodus Clay.
Not Brodus Clay. I'm sorry. What did I mean?
I don't know what you meant.
Not Brodus Clay. Holy hell! I think I'm just tired.
I have no idea where you were going there.
What's the guy's name
Brody
that's in
Lee?
the feud? No. The guy that's in the feud with Shinsuke Nakamura right now. Before Seth.
Ciampa?
No, the third one in that feud.
Oh, you don't like Big Bronson Reed anymore?
Bronson Reed. No, I do. I'm saying that, like, you remember when I saw him live, I was like, I wouldn't stop talking about him. I was like, this is great. He reminds me of Vader. But then the company itself just kind of like washes him away, and now he loses every match. And people say that losing doesn't matter, but when you're losing every single match,
when you're not established, it does.
Yeah.
When you're Chris Jericho, it doesn't. When you're a young guy like him, it does.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean.
And giving them stupid fucking nicknames.
Well,
Dirty Dom, I'm okay with. Big Bronson Reed is just no. We know he's big. We can see.
Yeah. I'm curious. Since we're right here, let's wrap up the show with name changes. I've always been curious to have this conversation with you. Okay. What is your take? Well, because I have a pretty harsh opinion on it, and I know that I know Pat doesn't like my opinion. So, how do you feel about Pete Dunne becoming Butch, and what was JD McDonough's old name?
Jordan Devlin. Which
was awesome. What the fuck? Why change it to JD McDonough? Like, I don't.
Well, in this case, I think it had a little bit to do with the Google results of Jordan Devlin's name.
Oh, okay. That's right. We did have this conversation.
Yeah. In his case, I think it may have had something to do with that.
Yeah, that's true.
In the case of Pete Dunne, I thought it was unnecessary.
Mhm.
I mean, at least it's not Michael McGillicuddy. It depends entirely on the name that they're given. Like why did Walter have to become Gunther? But I mean, it's fine. And then he had a last name, but then they realized the last name was like some Nazi general, so they had to get rid of it.
Well, so the thing about Gunther's that's different from everybody else is both names are ridiculously awful. Walter or Gunther. They're not cool names. They're just old names, and he was going to make either one work. So I'm not really worried. I don't really think that makes a difference, and I do feel like he's a company guy. He's going to do what they ask him to do, and it's worked in his favor, specifically for him. Everything they told him to do, lose some weight, that's what he did. Get in better shape, that's what he did.
Can I say why I like Walter better though?
Oh yeah, sure. I don't because of Walter Eldridge, but go ahead.
No. Walter just sounds like the big pudgy kid on the playground that's like bigger than everybody else that's just gonna bully them and beat the shit out of them. And that's essentially what he is.
That's what he was, yes. Until they had him change his character.
Now, but he's still bigger than everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's still a bully.
Yeah.
So like it fit him.
Yes.
But other than that, that's the only reason to me, like can you imagine like you're a British kid you're at lunch, you're like, oh no, Walter's coming. That was a terrible attempt at a British accent, but
no, that's fine. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. I guess I don't like the Pete Dunne name change. I didn't like it because I thought Pete
unnecessary.
Dunne was, yeah, I mean, I also feel like I've been like, I really hate when I start digging a wrestler and I'm like, yeah, this guy's awesome. Like I really like something about him, and then honestly, like. I hate to keep doing this because I know you love the show, but when they name change like this right before they go to the main roster, or when they come on the main roster, it's like Ted bringing the blue French horn back to Robin. It's that bad. It ruins a lot for me. Like, it just, I can't do it. Like, it took me like a year to start liking anything Butch did again. Like, I was just like, no, you're done to me.
To be fair, it took a year for him to do anything worth liking.
Mm-hmm.
But
I would like to see Tyler Bate used more, though.
For sure. They did something last week about I don't even know what the Heritage Cup is or why they're all feuding over it. Did I tell you that a kid I used to like play wrestle in my like backyard wrestled Noam Dar on a 205 live taping like 5 or 6 years ago?
No, that's pretty cool though.
It was pretty cool when I saw it. It was like a 2-minute squash, but like still, Dar cuts a promo on him before the match, like kind of puts him over a little bit, and then like he does get a little bit of offense in.
Yeah, I like Noam. I like Noam because he sounds like the big dude in Frozen. You know, like he sounds like that guy from Sweden, the one who's like, "Ooh, big summer blowout." I like him so much. Like his voice is like is he Swedish?
No, he's
Dutch,
Irish, or Scottish.
He's
or something.
Not Irish. No way.
I think he might be Scottish.
I feel like we can't get off here.
Yeah, he's the Scottish. I think he's the Scottish Supernova, wasn't he?
Really?
We'll look it up. Just a second. No, how the hell do you spell his name?
Oh shit! It says he's Israeli. Wow, we were wrong as hell.
Is he really? Is weird.
Yeah.
Israeli and Scottish.
Oh, okay. Wow. Then he has a very strange accent that sounds almost like Swedish. Like you know, when he talks, it's very. That's what I always think of. Like especially when he gets angry and like you know when the guy's like, let me deal with this crook right here. And then he just gets up and he's like, excuse me, what did you call me? Like, that's what he sounds like. It's crazy.
I don't know what was going on last week. He's got like this posse now.
Oh, he's had it for a while.
Okay. And he's like arguing with Tyler Bate and somebody else about he made a fake Heritage Cup and then he lost it to Tyler Bate.
Yeah. Yeah, because he lost the Heritage Cup to the Surfer guy. And then
Yeah, the pay-per-view in May. Yeah.
yeah, and then he just decided I'm just gonna make my own,
Make my own.
which is very
He
Shawn
lost that
Michaels.
too.
I love that. I love that. Like that's what we need.
But they
I
said
love
like
that.
they give it back to him and give him a shot at the real one if he'd just admit that it was fake.
Yeah.
And he's
yeah.
like kind of admits it.
You know, I
Like,
would really like it
that's
if
what we're
we
gonna get.
had. Yeah, I would really like it if we had. Like, wouldn't your opinion completely change about Austin Theory if he walks out on Friday with the U.S. Championship and says he didn't lose the title? And then we have Ray and Austin, and he just kind of like runs with the Shawn Michaels gimmick. That would be great. I think I would love that.
Yeah, I don't know that my opinion's ever going to change on Austin Theory, but
No.
I guess that's
Personally,
one
I'm
that I
not a
just
fan.
have a hard time separating.
Yeah, me too. But
I can do it with JD because that's also sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Ambiguous. Like there's a couple of sides and nobody's really proved
Yeah.
their case. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, no, I agree with you. It's kind of one of those things. It's kind of like the Darby Allin thing. Like we don't know if
we don't
it's true or
know.
not, but Priscilla's still his friend, and it just kind of feels like
then that's right there. Is if she forgave him, then you know.
yeah. But we're definitely not going to end the show on that note.
I would actually like to talk about Darby Allin for a minute because I think he's doing a lot of good things for the business and for like the whole Nick Wayne thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we can
Just
finish with the high
his,
note. Yeah,
his dad, Nick Wayne's dad, trained Darby, and then he passed away. And Darby's kind of looked after the kid. And now he's brought him in under his wing, and like he's been helping him out. And then he's like the last few weeks he's gone out of his way to make AR Fox look good, and I just think he's growing a lot as a performer. And maybe we were a little harsh on him in the beginning because he is a young guy.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, I agree with you. I am one of these people that I'm a big proponent of this, and I know I've said this to you before in terms of football. I guess in wrestling, I feel the same way, but it just hasn't been as prevalent to me. But I feel like we need to trust the opinion of the people that do it. Like if a football team likes a specific player, just because the media doesn't like that player, like I'm going to trust the players on the field. Like they want to play with a guy, you know what I mean? It's like the media painting Aaron Rodgers out to be an asshole, and then all the Jets are like, all that shit that you saw on sports media is fake. Like he's not like that, you know? Like that's the perfect example. That's exactly who I was thinking of.
Yeah,
and
he's
then,
a dude.
Yeah, he's the dude from The Big Lebowski. That's what he is. He's the real life version of that.
He really is.
And anyway, so like if wrestlers are telling us that Darby Allin is the future, whether it's CM Punk or it's MJF or it's Sting, you know, or it's Cody Rhodes. Like if they're telling us like this kid is part of the future, like we need to trust that he is the new wave of talent. Like I know I've fought it long enough, but it really does feel like everything he has done has been really good and he's done the right thing. I mean, I get that he's really small and that bothers people, but I really feel like as much as people want this, and me and Tyler have actually talked about this specifically, as much as people want a cruiserweight division, there's way too many sensitive wrestling fans out there. Everybody's going to get freaked out if your favorite guy gets thrown in the cruiserweight division. So they're never going to bring it back.
Yeah, again, like I wouldn't hate it, but that's I
mean,
remember
I think
when it was a big deal. So.
Yes, absolutely. You know, and honestly, I feel like there is a way to fix it. I just don't know why no company has the balls to do it. And WWE actually did it when it was WWF. They had the light heavyweight championship. Japan had the junior light heavyweight championship. I feel like if WWE or AEW decided, instead of calling it the Cruiserweight or 205 Live, that they just called it the Light Heavyweight Championship, that it would be a success. Because guess what, guys? Boxing is a physical contact sport, and we love Canelo, and he is a light heavyweight champion.
Yeah,
You know, we don't love him more than Tyson Fury, but we value him equally as much. I mean, I do. I'm a big boxing fan, guys.
Yeah, to me, it seems like the smaller guys in boxing are the ones that really put on the show, and the bigger guys are like wrestling used to be, and the bigger guys are what sells the show.
We actually opened the show talking about this, so that's fine.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
Don't you think that would work, the junior light heavyweight championship right now, or like the light heavyweight championship in either company?
I mean, even just call it the X division or whatever. That's essentially what the X division was. There were some bigger guys in there, but mostly it's a bunch of smaller guys flippy flopping around, and call it something that doesn't have anything to do with their size. So that way, you know, you don't have to.
Yeah, the only issue that I have with this, as I point out the sensitive wrestling fans right now, the only thing I would say is, I guess we both have to admit there's not a lot of big wrestlers anymore. Like, there's not a lot of Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
like
you're right.
Roman, Brock, Braun,
Gunther,
Drew, those Sheamus is on his way out. Like, those guys are probably the biggest. Well, I think he's probably he's probably going to wrap up here soon. But I mean, like, and then in AEW, they make it a.
Seems like he just got here.
Yeah, and they make it a big deal to not want to push big guys. Like, they won't put. They have Big Bill that I really feel like is. Oh, it's just going to piss me off. I just feel like we need somebody like that in wrestling today. He doesn't need a title on him, but we need that style because we need different styles of matches. Like, we can't have the same fucking match. Not every match can be Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole. We need different matches. Like,
right, and there's a place for guys like that, even if they're not particularly great in the ring. Like,
but he is.
Like, Sid is a guilty pleasure of mine. Like,
no
the guy wasn't spectacular in the ring, but like the presentation and the whole, it worked.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to wrap up talking about this. Diamond Dallas Page said it like a couple months ago that AEW ruined Wardlow. He felt, because he was in the heyday of it and he was actually in a feud with him, he felt like Wardlow was getting Goldberg level reactions and they wrecked his character. Do you agree with DDP?
Maybe. I've never been a big fan, to be honest.
Of who? Wardlow?
But I just wonder if he was hurt and they tried to work around it, and it didn't do his character any favors because it made him look really weak. Because I think when they did that whole angle where like Joe cut his hair or whatever and then beat him, I believe he was hurt because we didn't see him for quite a while after.
Yeah.
Obviously, Joe losing the title to Darby like a week later didn't really help matters, but
no. But it's okay because we have the best TNT champion right now in Christian. So,
if only.
Yeah, I'd like to say one more thing before we wrap up, if you're okay with that. All the podcasts that we listen to, that we like pretty much listen to together, how much do you love that Arn Anderson spot about eating dinosaur?
What?
Have you heard it?
I have not listened to any of them in the last couple of weeks.
There's a spot.
I need to because Bruce's is on Sean Waltman.
Oh, okay. No, there's a spot like the Blue Chew spot. There's a spot with Arn Anderson where they ask him, where they say, sorry guys, where they say, hey, what's dinosaur taste like? And he's like, honestly, it's really chewy. And he kind of goes on this little rant, and the guy's like, oh, that's off-putting. Like, just the way he says it, I'm just like, it always makes me laugh at work. Like, always while I'm working overnight, I'm just like, oh my god.
I want to get you a little fired up here before we go.
Do it.
Did you read the report today that the reason Nick Aldis has not been in WWE so far is because Bruce Pritchard said he was hard to work with in TNA?
No, I didn't read that.
It was in
Fucking-
sports. It was on Sportskeeda.
Why is Bruce Pritchard being such a dick?
I mean, granted, he did work with the guy in Impact, so maybe he is hard to work with. I don't know.
Yeah, but I feel like he can come in like AJ Styles, go right to the main roster and start
Hell
working
yes.
top guys. Like, he's so talented. And what if he brings his wife with him?
I think she is
He's not there anymore.
TNA
He's not
wife.
Oh, okay, yeah, but I was gonna say
No, I know he's not
like-
there anymore. I thought he was going to show up. I thought he was going to be the third tag partner last week when Shin did it, because I think he was at the show.
Oh, that would have been cool. Yeah, I don't know. I guess so. All right, well, that's
Yeah,
pretty much our show.
I know how much you love Bruce Pritchard, so I felt like
Yeah, he's an idiot. But either way, I've worked for idiots before in the past, and I have no problem. So if Bruce Pritchard wants some new writers on his team, I'd gladly
call us.
Yeah, call us up. All right. Well, I would love to just run the women's division. That's it. I feel like I could fix the women's division.
I'll book Finn exclusively, and it'll be like what Bob Holly used to say.
Stop.
I think I should just beat everybody and win the title.
You're not professional enough to book Finn Balor. You would be Eric Bischoff to his whole
beat everybody and win the title.
Yeah, that's exactly what it would be. Just awfulness. They would be like, Finn, you're gonna go out there and you're not gonna beat Damian Priest for the Money in the Bank briefcase, and you'd be like, that doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we Paul Heyman with RVD.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining our show. We appreciate you. And like and subscribe if you want to see more. We're going to continue to provide you with content. We're going to do as much and often as possible to get out there for you guys. So, all right, we're out.
Out.